September 22nd, Parks and Rec Board meeting, so we can call to order and do a roll call. So Tim Weber, President, here. Wendy Kuehl, Vice President.
Here.
Frank Blaine, Secretary.
Here.
Kandi Lewin is out with notice. Duncan Woodhull.
Here.
Very good. Council Representative, we're in a transition right now. We do not have one, but we will hopefully have one. Work to fill it in, that's up to the city council, so. Craig Wagner, city employee rep.
Here.
Very good. First order is the approval of the agenda. Has anybody's had, gone through it and has anything they want to go away from, or we can?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second the motion.
I'll second the motion.
All right, you can second. Duncan seconds the motion.
Or did you?
You got it. And then do we vote on that? I always forget that one.
Yes.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we can vote on the approval, or we can make a motion on the approval of the previous minutes from last month, August 25th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Very good. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes. All right. Public comments, we have non-agenda items. These are limited in theory to 5 minutes per speaker. No action can be taken on these discussed items unless elsewhere listed on the agenda. But today we have West Central Hartford softball here. Gonna chat a little bit about what we have in our proposed budget, and we talked a little bit, he had some questions, and then maybe some feedback for us too on some future directions that we could keep going with some stuff, so. Floor is yours.
All right, I gotta come up here.
Probably
Make it
best.
official.
All right, okay.
And we do need you to state your name for people watching it.
Perfect. Greg Hartman, President of the Hartford Area Softball Board. Yeah, as Tim mentioned, visited a little bit with him last evening based off of some of the approvals on the different budget things, and I just really wanted to talk with the group about how, as the Hartford Board, from the softball side, we can partner with the city on some different items in there. And so a couple of the things that we visited with is just kind of the long-term goal and direction out of the Swenson Park. And so looking to, see the parking lot, I'm not going to say it's looking nice because it looks like a lot of dirt movement, right? But that's in work, looking forward to some of the bleachers and shade areas as well in the scoreboard. So appreciate the commitment to that, I guess. Diamond 8 at the city fields, kind of the update there that is scraping of the field, which is nice. Actually, I was up there on Saturday, and it is very much a sandbox at this point. So I think to get that usable for us, I think that is going to be important. I think one of the things to consider with that as well is what does it look like from the grass side? So we've taken care of the infield. What does the grass side look like? It's starting to get fairly rough in places, and so what does that potentially look like? How can we, look at that? And then, if just for awareness, if we would ever need to move potentially those fences in, if we ever wanted to add something back there, those could come in as well. The outfield, if there was ever a need to put more pickleball courts up there, behind that, there could be an option potentially to look at. I think the one trick with that space is where do we see that space being used long-term from the league standpoint. We are really using those fields there for our youngest kids, right? So our T-balls, 8U, everything else for the most part we've moved out to Swenson. Now the high school is a little bit different. I'd leave that to them to say what they would use and how they would use that. But from the league side, we're probably using more of the two smaller fields, and then the bigger field is probably where we can do our most practice at this point outside of when we get our games running at Swenson. Couple of smaller things that I mentioned to Tim that I would like to see if we could maybe work something on together is, and I don't know where it came from, but that turf that's in the batting cages up at the city fields is really starting to wear out in some of those places. And so I don't know, Craig, if you know where that came from?
I
or-
don't, today, actually, somebody with the Softball Association picked it up somewhere.
Okay.
There, so, yeah,
Okay.
I have no idea where.
All right, maybe I can find out. So, yeah, looking at potentially putting something else there. It's about half of it, kind of where they stand for batting is to the point where it's pretty much now just back to concrete. Saying that, I think that we're starting to see a lot more of that in different parks where it is that concrete and turf. And so I know, looking up at the Swenson fields, something to potentially consider is, would we put a landing spot for the batter and with turf? The big reason why I typically see that is when those get used heavily, it is a lot of wear and tear on that really small area. That's probably why that turf is wore out, is because it's just wore out. The other thing, I know as we pull electrical lines, I don't know where they're going to have to be pulled from, but if possible, putting in some sort of an electrical box up at Swenson at the batting cage. Right now we have to drag those extension cords from the big green box, so that can be a hassle at times. Yeah, I think those were some of the smaller projects that we kind of maybe had some in mind and wanted to say, is there a way that from the association we can partner with? We are looking, I don't know if you guys have heard, but the Colton baseball, they were able to receive a fairly sizable gift from Fields for Kids from the Twins organization. So that was one area we had looked at exploring to potentially help with any sort of projects up there. Long term, I know goal would be to try to find some lights, but that's probably I know a sizable dollar amount. So, but my focus is really how do we keep growing that and partnering with you guys from the association side.
I do know of Nike right now has some youth sports grants out there. Might be worth looking into. I don't know that it's something that we can necessarily do since we don't run in youth sport. I've
Gotcha.
watched it a little bit, but certainly check on that and see if there's something, anything you guys can take from that, and then we can maybe work to collab something on, even if we can ask Nike for like a bigger ticket item or something. That would be
Yeah, I
cool that we could work on something, might be a good deal, but.
And if there is something that we would want to do up there, I know historically we bought, a net here, net there, right? Things like that where it's more movable. So if it's a bigger item where we can either find financing or partner with, is that something to visit just back with you guys on?
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, good option.
Okay. Okay, and then I know the other thing that had been mentioned to us is I know Corey Morgan is one of the educators, I think, for the different turf projects. So he's been fairly invested in some of our softball programs. So I think he teaches up at Southeast. And it sounds like they're oftentimes looking for different projects. And so I don't know if he would be an individual that we could, I think oftentimes the people provide the product or whatever need, but then they will come do some work, so. But he could be another avenue to look towards. Yeah, I think those are the big things I had, so.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
You think they'd be interested in looking at the grass on field day?
I could talk to Corey, I've actually got his number and stuff, so I know he did some At the soccer field, he did some little spots here and there just to try to get the grass a long time ago. But certainly talk to him, see.
Excellent.
Would you be influential in helping us get, probably know where I'm going with this, just more participation to run the concession stand?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, a give and take, right? But
Yeah,
that's
it's
one
the-
thing, as you know, as you probably know, we're struggling with to just get people to volunteer, to get, it's an expense, that was a kind of a hefty investment on the city's part. We need, like the mayor says, we got to get that thing going. So,
Yeah, so my family ran the concessions for that tournament we had up there.
Yep.
And I think that, the tricky thing with the concessions is finding the people to run it that aren't actively involved. And so for me, I got 3 of them playing softball right now, and so most likely, of the 4 nights balls going on, I maybe have 1 night where they're not playing, right? And so that becomes the challenging piece. So I know we put it out there to a number of our teams last year to see, and there wasn't a lot of interest at that point. Now, saying that, I did hear, there was people saying, hey, is your guys' concession open tonight? And so we heard that from a few of the teams that were there. And so now, now that the building's there, I think, Duncan, it could be a question to say, hey, can we find some people that are interested? Or, if there's something where we have, from an association, hey, this is what we want to do with the proceeds from it, right? Can we do that? Baseball, yeah.
batting cage,
Yeah, some-
improvements.
Yeah, improvements that
That
way.
we're willing to work with you on, but
Yeah.
it'd be nice to get in return some investment, or some time investment from the community or the participants of the softball league.
Yeah.
I only say that because where I came from, Minnesota, there was an expectation, and, I understand every sport's different, but you had to volunteer your time.
Yeah, and I believe, and I don't, it's been a couple of years since we've been in the baseball, but I believe Humboldt, if I remember correctly, it's, you either run the concession or you have to pay extra money, and I don't know what they're doing now with that money. But yeah, that could be potentially an option. It's just a matter of finding somebody to probably organize it.
Sure.
And that is what
I didn't know if
Humboldt
we wanted to discuss that.
did. I was gonna say, later in the agenda, I did contact Humboldt to see, and yeah, I don't know if you want, is it okay to discuss it now, Tim, or do you want to wait for later?
Sorry, did I jump
Yeah,
the gun?
I'm okay with whatever.
Way to mess it
Well,
up.
Hey, do we
But you
want?
didn't know whether that
Yeah.
grant was gonna stay.
Yeah, do we want?
Yeah, I will be sticking around. So.
Yeah, I was say if we want
Unless
to
you go
start a
to-
dialogue now, or if we want to do a chat about it, or where we're at, but yeah, if we can jump down to that since we're here, and we can visit with it if you guys are okay with that.
Well, I
Just
put
keep going.
my notes in there. I did contact Humboldt City there. They do not have anything to do with the concession stands there. And basically, it's like Greg said, the West Central Baseball Association takes care of all of it. They, between the parents and what run the stands, they line up the volunteers, they buy all the products, but in return, they get all the profit from it. I mean, they don't pay anything to the city either. So it's, Christie over at Humboldt says, they take care of that whole thing. The city doesn't participate in it at all.
Yeah, I was talking to some parents over there, and it was a deal where, like, if your kids are playing, you're covering one of your kids' games instead of trying to, coordinate a time where you're free. It's like, yeah, it sucks missing out, but every parent has to take one of the games, and they get to watch it from the concession stands, or if, their kid's up to bat, then they can step out and watch or whatever. Obviously, that's a small part of the whole game too, so it is a sacrifice in watching your kids, but that's what some of the parents.
But if you can coordinate it to everybody takes a turn when their kids are not playing.
Yeah.
Maybe coordinate that way.
Yeah, and that's the part you're running into, that's super difficult, right? It's like
Yeah.
trying to find, so that you're not trying to make it so parents have to miss watching their kid, but if you're limited to only days where one of their kids isn't playing, then you have no more days left in the week, because
Yeah.
everybody's
Yeah.
running all over, so.
And I think a little bit different with the baseball. So the baseball, I believe all of their games are there. So if you're playing in the Humboldt League, all their games are there.
Okay.
Versus, we'll have games at Sioux Falls, Beersford,
Mhm.
and so, sometimes we would be, okay, Tiffany, you're at a city park, I'm in Beersford, and we're catching a ride with one of the other ones to go to Brandon even potentially. So that is a little different, but yeah, I mean, it's not saying it's not possible, but it definitely is, a logistical challenge. Probably most of the time we got games up there, I don't even know if it's half the teams or even harder teams, probably.
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of them come in from outside the community to
Yeah.
play there just because.
And then like in Humboldt, right, they just have the one concession stand on the big field, or do they have another one for all the smaller fields?
No, they have one with smaller.
Oh, do they?
Yep.
Okay. Very good.
So Cheryl was out walking this morning and she ran into Lana Snyder, who had two comments. One, she doesn't think it's right for us to be trying to get fees from people to help pay for the maintenance. And then the other was, she would be interested. She doesn't know what the scope is or the commitment, but she would be interested in helping with the concession stand.
Okay. Well, very good. Give Lana Snyder a call. We got some volunteer hours on the mower and the concession stands. Yeah.
Maybe we could get Lana to head it up because I think Jordan has a team there, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, get somebody probably that will coordinate the.
Schedule.
The logistics.
Yeah. I mean, even for the tournament, I think the number of, and this probably would get refined as you go, but the number of, trips to Sioux Falls to say, hey, what do we need, right?
Yep.
It's, the school has a very, that's all streamlined. They have their ordering stuff, and that's pretty organized, and that's probably a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I think to get on with the cooked beverage is pretty simple as well, if that's something that they wanted to look into, and they would, they would come out like on game days and make sure that you're stocked with their stuff, so.
Is that who does the schools?
Yeah.
Dakota Beverages?
Yep.
The Booster Club would be a good source to what to order, when to order, whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they did, the high school games, and
Yeah.
they do at the school as
Yeah.
well, so Kramer's would be a good contact.
Yeah, and we work with Kim when we were going to run that concession stand.
Very good. Okay, should we move on to reports now? Good. Public comments in with our concession stands / maintenance fees. We can do any updates from council and staff members on non-agenda items. We don't have any council today, but
Well, I can kind of give you a little heads up what we have going on. Tomorrow I'm meeting with Benjamin Burgers. The Girl Scouts made a new sign for Lions Park, so I'm going to be with him to figure out a good location for it, and we'll get that located and I'll get it installed.
awesome.
Their sign is done, so they're all ready for that. We did get the concrete done around the pickleball bathrooms to finish out that sidewalk and make the slab outside. Austin with A and B Concrete got that done this morning. And they're going to be meeting with, well, I met with them last week. I just got to figure out the footages and that stuff out at Swenson Park, and he thought maybe toward the end of next week he'd be out there to get that concrete done for us. And then we are hopefully, see how the week goes, we're hoping to get started on a bathroom pickleball court, so we're moving ahead with this.
And you got a new water treatment plant employee?
Yep.
And he's
So,
gonna be able
He
to,
started last week, so we were working with him, getting him broke in. We've actually met with the guys at Aeromod, the company that actually came up with the treatment facility itself, designed that stuff. So we met with them today and tomorrow, and then getting him broke in. I think he's moving along good, so that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
We get started.
so you're gonna pull some of you guys out of the water plant
So
and,
we're,
very good,
so we're slowly getting there, so.
excellent.
That's what I got for updates, Mr. Park.
Do we wanna sign a thank you card at the end of the meeting, and get it to the Girl Scouts for the sign? Is that something we do?
That would be a great idea. I'll grab one. Somebody remind me.
All right. Very good. And then, Wendy, we got any updates on the playground equipment here?
Yeah, I requested that they re-quote out with those 2 discounted items that we
Yeah.
talked about at that last meeting for the budget. And then I also, so I sent that out to the group here, and it was $61,119 total. And there was a picture too in there, you could see kind of the outline of what that would look like. That's totally installed, everything. The wood fibers, everything. Yep, that's that one, yep.
Very good.
Yep, that includes that little spinning chair, some musical instruments, and then a 6 to 23 month section, that's right there,
Yeah.
yeah. With that being said, that playground equipment is on clearance through the end of the month, and they wanted 40% down, as what is typical, so that would be it'd be 40% of those first 2 line items. So that would be 11,976 would be the total. And that's before December 19th is to get that in.
A little caveat
Yeah.
there, so we're gonna have to ask the city to release funds that haven't happened yet.
So I didn't know
The
what
problem we have is that the city council don't meet till October 7th. And if it's only on clearance till the end of the month, will they?
End of December.
Oh, it's,
Yeah.
oh, I
Yeah.
thought you said the end of the month.
December.
Yeah, end of December, yep.
Okay. Oh, well then,
Yeah.
yes, that. could
Well, it's
work
December
out.
19th is it must be purchased by, so if we have discussion with the city at the next
At
meeting.
the next meeting,
Yeah.
you could have that October, that could work.
Yeah, and then I think from there, if we get the down payment, then we can decide on timelines and whatnot and installation.
Colors and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can get the logistics.
Do we need to make a motion to ask the city to release those funds?
Yeah, that'd be great, because that'd be a recommendation from this board, and then,
Okay.
And then just one other thing, I was thinking maybe we could advertise that the park is coming, like on the Facebook page or somewhere, so that people know that we're adding this component to our park. And maybe just a picture or something,
Yeah,
just to kind of get the word out there.
love it.
we'll wait till we get approval from the
Yeah.
council.
Yep.
but-
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
All right, I'll make a motion to ask for council approval to release the funds for down payment on the playground system here.
And it would be 11,976.
Okay, $11,976, and that will cover 40% of the
Yep.
first 2 line items.
Yep, it'd be just the equipment portion. The rest is freight and the timbers and the wood fibers.
Okay,
And, yeah,
very good. And then labor.
yep.
And then I'll second that.
Okay. And then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Passes unanimously. All
Okay.
I'll
right.
get it on their next agenda.
The little kid.
Very good. Thank you for your work on this one, Dave.
Yep.
I'm sure it's been a lot back and forth and
Well, he's
figuring
been
it
pretty
out.
responsive, so it's
Yeah.
been pretty easy to work with him.
Very good. And then, yeah, we get that on the Facebook page, and I think people would start to get excited about it.
Yep.
Maybe we should wait until like February 14th when it's 40 below zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something to
Good
look forward to in the
feelings,
spring.
right? Yeah.
I'm gonna take your neighborhood near you.
Okay. And then the next one would be me with the Sioux Falls Park and Rec. So, yeah, just a quick overview we talked about earlier. The mowers, they got $2,100 is about what they spent, and the base station you can only buy this mower through the dealer, because the dealer owns the base station, and then they have to set it up and log into it and stuff, so, which is fine. I think you get a lot of, especially when you're working with municipal stuff, you don't wanna have to have somebody, a specialist in some autonomous mower, so having somebody that can do it is a great idea. And they, are working on setting a new base station up on the west side of Sioux Falls, so they can cover more of Sioux Falls, and that should also reach, I think they said like Lennox, T, and Hartford should all be able to be included in that base station area. And I'm not super familiar, but it is a kind of a full GPS thing that it goes off of, so. If you go online, I believe you can look at the parks that Sioux Falls has under the list, the acreages and what it takes to care for that stuff. So one of them was, it said a mower and one of these mowers and like a 42-inch rider. So it was like they pretty well could replace a 42-inch rider with one of these mowers, so.
And the person,
Mhm.
and the labor.
And the labor, yeah. And gasoline, you know, electricity is not free, but,
So which one of these were you thinking we would?
you know, I just threw that out there. I would say, that's something I think the sales professional would probably let us know, depending on where we would want to place it. If we would want to put it out to Swenson, I would, you know, try to get a larger one, and if it was going in like City Park, you probably get a smaller one type of deal, so I'm not entirely sure. But just something on the radar to,
From the cheapest to the most expensive is like a factor of 10.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there monthly fees in to have their services?
That's something I have to look into, but I don't think so, because you can also get these and use them residentially as well, and I haven't seen, and I was looking into those, and I haven't seen any like monthly that needed to go with it, but that'd be a good question to ask, so.
I mean, they use a dock station, is that something that could be outside? or
Yeah,
is that
yeah,
something
so
that's-
I've seen, they're like little dog houses basically, so they just sit out in the middle of nowhere and it just returns to that, and I think that seems to be.
Are the dock stations
So
somehow
you'd have to have
secured? Because
power.
we have a lot of vandalism, sorry, in our park system. so,
Yeah, yeah.
Just so
Yeah,
if
would
they
they-
found someplace to be secure, because I could see
Yeah.
somebody messing with it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's.
For sure.
Yeah, and I, you
I
know,
don't think they're secure because this thing will pull, when the battery's getting dead or low, it'll pull itself back in, recharge. Once it's recharged, it starts all over again where it was at. It keeps going, so it's got, that thing has to be able to get in and out of the doghouse for it.
yeah, I'd say probably the most secure thing you could do would be make your doghouse was kind of like an igloo, right, where it had a little tunnel that was all secure, and to get to it would be, you know, not real feasible, but it keep the honest people out, right?
Yeah.
So,
What does Sioux Falls do, I wonder, for
Yeah.
their security? They've got to have the same problem.
Because
Yeah.
Gillespie's used to have these when he had the hustler.
okay,
And I was talking to him about them just one day, and they were, like I said, they were using them for major ball fields and that stuff. And I believe if somebody would, it's got a GPS locator on it. Plus, once it can't be reprogrammed if somebody would steal it, you know,
Yeah.
something like that. So it has to, it's,
yeah,
whatever
on-
it's stationed at or whatever,
Mhm.
they can't steal it and use it somewhere else, so it doesn't do no good.
only the dealer can set it up, right? So you can't steal it and take it elsewhere, because the dealer wouldn't come and set it up. They'd be like, oh, this is stolen, right? So, but yeah, I mean, even
Can they locate it
regardless
if
of
it's
that.
powered up? Or would we have to stick like an air tag on it?
I think they got a tag in them that they can,
They can find it?
yes.
But yeah, even like Teresa said, sometimes vandals, intention, motive isn't to take it, it's just to break
I'd say
it, so.
just to beat on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Beating on our park shelters on our table.
They can visit with the supervisors.
I guess they'd probably be best for
Yeah.
Greg to visit with them, yeah, and
Talk to Mark about doing, see what he said from the guys, that's it too.
So Craig, as far as current equipment, are we kind of at that point where we're looking at a new mower?
We are
Like a new
actually-
zero turn
We
or?
are actually buying another one, next budget, we got money for it.
Okay.
But one of our older ones is gonna go out to the wastewater facility. So we'll have a mower out there for that person. So we're still gonna be, I mean, what we got for mowers, we are in good shape for, as far as mowing for the city. Sometimes the hardest thing is not having help to run them. I mean, we'll have mowers sitting there all the time, so. This last summer, we had a good group of kids, and they were running the mowers all the time. I mean, they're busy. They mow 40 hours a week down there, so. It's a long time.
Between the raindrops and
You
July.
know.
Okay, very good. We can move on to the old business, so we can just touch on Swenson Park concession stand updates. We did talk through that a bit. I don't know if anybody else has anything else to add to that. And we can skip down to maintenance fee for field usage, and, you know, community feedback. You know, they don't feel like it's fair, and I can agree with that sentiment, but it's where the city's standpoint is, I would say, is city doesn't feel like it's fair that we use tax dollars for, to do this, and then private groups get to use it free of charge, I guess. So, and in the end, you know, we hope that private groups are not doing stuff for profit, right? It all goes back to the kids, and the majority of it does for the majority of the private groups, but there is an opportunity there where public funds can be used for private gain, you know.
So I'd like to say that, since we've been talking about this, I did have another organization ask if they could purchase fertilizer for us, if we'd spread it out in the fields to help out. School, they're willing to buy us a sprinkler for the soccer fields, you know, because everybody wants they'll pitch in for their field use that they want to use. You know,
Yeah,
it's not
sure.
the sports complex.
Yeah.
You know, like the ball teams will pitch in for batting nets, you know.
Yeah.
The school, since they play the soccer games out there, they want to see them fields getting watered, you know.
Yeah, which I think is great. I think it's great.
So I think you'll see more.
good
once-
compromise.
Once they
Yeah.
start, I think you'll see a little bit more of it starting to come around. so.
Yeah, and then plus if we can, you know, Duncan is leading a very good charge on getting advertising sold out there, and that's our next bullet point here to talk about, and I think if we get all that stuff rolling, that's the ideal way to offset a lot of this stuff, right? Everybody pitches in to take care of what they're using, we get advertising that pitches in to take care of some extra stuff too, and that is the ideal way to go about it, and not have to have surcharges and other stuff like that too, so. That's my 2 cents. Everybody else has anything to add? I'm all ears too.
Yeah, it's a fine balance, and we want, you know, when I'm out asking people for investment for the kids, for the advertising, which, by the way, Craig, you and Tim, you're with leads, I jumped on those right away. I got good responses, so.
Perfect.
We have a little bit more time now that the season's over, right? So really, their dollar commitment wouldn't be till 2026 now. So I figure Teresa, I have probably this fall to, as we get towards Christmas, I can, you know,
Merry Christmas, here's your bill.
Merry Christmas, here's your advertising agreement. Thank you, can I have another $1,000?
Yeah.
By the way, has anyone else contacted you?
Well, I put in my report, so we had our 3 for this year, Sunshine, Reliant Bank, and Bussa County.
Yeah.
And then for next year, we'll start off with American Truck Store, which is Dylan Peterson.
Yeah.
He is going to do a banner also, and then Crestman Sanitation is going to do one of the decals with the scoreboard. So
Nice.
he's got $1,000 decal there, so I'm working with those two to, through the winter, get logos and what they want, you know, and put up for
Yeah.
them. Yeah. So we'll start those up in the next year.
Because the spring season starts in earnest in March?
Yeah, so the high school group probably is the first group that gets going. I think, you know, that's all weather dependent, but it'll be
Sure.
middle of March.
Okay,
Yeah,
that gives me an idea.
yeah, I mean, probably, I think what, the fields open sometime in April?
Yeah, it's usually about the middle of April before the fields
Okay.
actually
Yeah.
playable.
Our advertising agreement says we'll have it up from March to October.
Okay, yeah, that's right, so it gives me, so I have a little more time now
Yeah.
in terms of my sense of urgency to get folks to, but no, I mean, the people that you guys gave me were just, I think, everyone I talked to, great, you know, I sent them information, so it'll be incumbent upon me between now and the end of the year to, and you guys usually, you know how it goes, 3 or 4 asks, but I'll keep my eyes on them. It's all good. And with that, and that's, if we can get that filled, if we can get all 4 fields filled, that'd be very aggressive, but if we could, I mean, that would go a long ways towards helping offset some of the maintenance fees.
Yeah.
That are necessary to keep those fields in good condition.
They've got a few of the banners where you can see them when you're parking out there for flag football, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are seeing.
And really, we're only talking about softball, because that's the banners,
Yeah.
that's the main, the eyeballs are for the 4 fields, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, all good, thanks for those names, I've got more ideas too, so, it's all good.
All right. Update on Swenson Park parking lot. I see ZCI out there hauling dirt every day. It sounds like they're really boogieing.
Yeah, that wasn't at the pre-con, Teresa was, so she probably give you more of an update on the
Yeah.
timeframe.
So they started this past week, moving a lot of dirt. It looks kind of like a mess now, but really it's a pretty simple and straightforward project. They're hoping by the end of the month be substantially complete on it, so they're, barring any weather concerns or whatnot, but they are only working from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're shutting off, we told them they need to shut down by 5 to accommodate any games or practices that are out there. We don't want a bunch of heavy machinery running around with kids and whatnot, so with that in consideration though, except if the weather holds out, we should have that parking lot before too long, so.
And that's crushed asphalt, right?
It'll be crushed asphalt,
Yeah.
yep. We're using actually the asphalt that's been tore up from Western. We're crushing it, and that's what we're using there, so it's a win-win. We don't have to haul that away, and they can use it up there, so,
Very good.
yep.
The greenest city on earth, recycling asphalt, right?
You bet, we're not wasting anything.
Very good, awesome.
I'm sorry, Tim, I had one more thought. So are we, as a nonprofit, are we, in this state, are you allowed to do like 50-50 raffles?
No. Your board cannot do any kind of gambling.
No, not the board,
The organizations.
the
That's up to
organization.
them. I just know as a city, and because it's
No, I
been brought about
understand that. I
before.
was kind of, yeah.
We can't.
Hard no.
Yeah,
Hard
it's a
no
hard
for
no, our
us.
attorney
I get
said no. No chasing.
I mean, we can
bees.
talk offline, but, I mean, those are successful. Everywhere I've seen them, they are very, I mean, it's a win-win, So anyway, something to think of. I can talk to you more about that, but that would be an idea to generate revenue, since softball's the main focus.
Yeah.
It's funny, they won't, like I always say, I mean, and I know this from, I owned a hockey team and we ran 50-50s at our rink in Wisconsin. I realize it's different, but it was not us, it was the nonprofits that came into our rink, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, people will bitch about $10 for a maintenance fee, but you throw out a 50-50, all of a sudden you're coming to 20s, they're flying. So,
Yeah.
I got a couple ideas for you.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were gonna leave, so thank you for sticking around. That's it.
All right, we can review the 25 budget and update on projects, and that's the projects we're currently working on through the end of this year, and maybe some that carry over. So. Any more updates on the projects, Greg?
I guess I don't have any updates right now at this time. Like I said, I'll probably sit down with Teresa and we'll go over some of the budget stuff that we've got too in this next week or so. And we got stuff in the city that we still need to get purchased and move ahead with, so we'll sit down and talk about that. And like I said, the concrete out there for Field 2, I know we got 25,000 that you guys asked for, so I'll go out and I'll measure out and see how much concrete we get to do all that stuff. There'll be some expense for gravel. We'll haul that ourselves, so it'll just be the gravel itself, and they have any expense to it. And we're also gonna dig the sod out of the area that we're gonna do that to save some money too, so. We did give you a quote the other day when we were out there, so I do have a hard number that I know what I can work with and how much concrete we can do, so we should be in good shape.
And then, things on here like the playground equipment and shade structures, that's obviously not going in until the parking and road would be done. Those are items that potentially could be moved on to next year, and we would just have like a footnote on those as like.
Well,
this was
it'll all go,
required.
whatever we don't spend goes back into the general.
fund.
Okay.
But you do, next year, the council did grant you extra budget funds over and above what projects you asked
Yep.
for. So, you know, that money can be utilized for, you know, if we don't get to some of these things this year, or if you have
Some of this-
something else.
you know, some of this we can go ahead and order.
Yeah,
If we
that's
don't
what I was
put it
wondering
up-
if
If we don't put it up, we can store it.
Shop.
Yeah, that's why I was
Yeah.
wondering if we could
So
order
that's
the
what we've done,
safety.
a lot of stuff that we know we're not gonna get to until spring, we just
Yeah.
have it ordered and have it sitting there. We like to spend our budgets if we can.
Yeah.
We get it ordered and delivered, so it gets on
Yeah.
this year's budget.
Yeah, I get on down.
So we'll-
By the end of the
We'll,
year,
I'll
then
sit
we're
down
good.
with
Even if
Tracy.
we don't get it till next
We'll
year,
get things kind of figured out.
it's gotta be
Okay.
paid for this year.
Because if I remember right, the bleachers, you didn't want to go with the higher ones with the rails and everything like that, so.
Yeah.
I'll figure out that and get that figured out. and we can- So hopefully, yeah, we should be in good shape if we, some of that we'll just go ahead and order that we know what we're already doing, but some of it I'll bring back to you guys for any questions with it, so.
Very good. Anybody else have any questions or updates on current budget? We did get quite a bit of updates earlier in the meeting with regards to the bathrooms and stuff like that too, so thank you for all of your work, Craig, again, it's very much appreciated. We can move on to new business, right? Or no, 1 to 5 capital parks improvement plan, report on the city council approving from the 26 CapEx budget. And we can discuss cost estimates and timelines and reprioritizations of our 26 goals here. So if you guys didn't see Teresa's email, they awarded us our budget plus some extra on top. So during the budget request meeting, basically they said, you know, last year or this current year we're in, they had a lot of big expenses with Western Avenue and other large projects, and that kind of took the majority of their efforts and energies and money. And this year we're kind of in a find new projects year, so they said, hey, we have a little extra money and they'd like to see us put it to good use here. So we are pretty thankful for that, and we're gonna do our best to spend it in the best way for the community here, so. If you guys have anything in addition to our 26 budgets that you, I think, are pressing or come to mind, or even if they're not on this list, that those are great things to throw on here and we can all get thinking about it.
What do you think about that extension out to Swenson Park? The bicycle path or walk path?
Oh, that probably won't be until 27.
Yeah, it's on the CIP for 2027, and that's gonna be a larger project. You're probably gonna need some grant funds with that, so we'll probably maybe apply for some grants next year, so then we can utilize them in 2027. The extra we got for next year won't cover it, 36, but yeah, we'll need to start planning for that next year, like I said, especially if we're gonna apply for some grants, because there's certain deadlines. Or then we're ready in 2027 to do it. Yeah.
What about the, I know the last meeting, or maybe 2 meetings ago, they talked about the bathrooms at the pool. Is there any things we can do to kind of upgrade those with that additional money?
I mean, yeah, we can always certainly look into it.
I think they mentioned showers and
Yeah.
locker
we can
space,
certainly
maybe?
Look into some of that. Don't talk to Neil about that. He likes to take care of the pool, so.
Okay, and maybe we could use
I'll
some
throw
money
him a heads up on
and bump that
just
up. Yeah.
tell him to think about some money, or how we can make it a little bit nicer for the meantime till we build a new pool. Yeah, for Field A, I think if we have a decent fall and I get another hired person on, we'll try to get that aggregate or that sand off that field this
Yeah.
fall. Otherwise, spring, we just won't. It'll be tough to get it done, everything's soft, everything's wet, you know, this was the least amount of damage we could possibly do, you know, to get it done, so I'll try to scrape that with this year. And then typically when we do fields, we usually have, we'll have the engineers come out and just shoot some, put some blue tops out there for us, so we have some elevation to shoot off. So we did the last, you know, I think we did all 4 fields out at Swenson ourselves. We just brought it out there, took the leg out and shaped them up and started dragging them, so we'll just plan on, you know, getting them shaped out and ready for hopefully that spring use.
What about a, I don't know, basketball mind, but like a sport court for the, you know, for the basketball area? Is that something that would be used? I mean, it looks like that, where they're shooting hoops, kind of looks like it's long in the tooth. I mean, could that be an area of upgrade? I don't know what a sport court would cost, or I'm just calling it a sport court, but a different surface.
Yeah, I mean, your surface you'd probably want to do something similar to what the pickleball has. I did look into those tiles at one time, and they get wet, they get slippery.
Yeah.
So you
Right.
really have to watch some of that stuff. But I would say that the pickleball court, the whole court with both courts was right around that $10,000 to resurface it or have it surfaced.
Right.
So I would think you'd be looking at, you know,
Probably about the same.
half, so maybe 3/4 probably,
Okay.
'cause it's a little bit smaller surface area.
Would we replace the mats and the poles
I mean,
too?
we could certainly look at doing something like that.
Right. Is there enough
Yeah.
usage down there? I mean,
I feel like
Are
it's pretty
people down
busy
there?
when I
Yeah,
shooting around,
by.
I see,
kids
it
playing
hasn't been
pickup
as busy
games?
this summer, but the past summers that there's always kids down there shooting hoops and stuff.
Right.
But I also haven't been to the parks for much this year.
Right.
I just haven't been down to them.
Right.
So, yeah,
And maybe if they're upgraded too, that'd be more.
Some
Yeah,
incentive to
to
come
use-
out.
to use
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Certainly something I can talk to the surfacing guy that did the pickleball courts and see what it costs to do it and then put some lines out there and stuff like that. And at the same time, probably put the lines in for pickleball court too at the same time, just different colors so that you have that for Blaine surface too. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can give a holler and see what it costs to
Yeah,
do
I
the
think
surfacing,
that would
look
be-
into some poles.
Reasonable.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Right next to another. That'd be a good ask.
You thought I'd mention
I
ice
know.
rink, didn't
I
you?
did.
Well, it was Sioux Falls, yes. Not yet.
So as far as, I'm thinking about the AgriLime, if we start getting stuff out this year, and that might kind of lead itself into working on the grassier outfield if we're running equipment.
Yeah, I
out
noticed
there,
that
right?
this
So-
summer when I was out there, I've been telling the guys that just to keep some black dirt in the gate, and once in a while, if you find a hole out there, just throw it in there, just start working, didn't seed at the same time, try getting some of those areas filled in.
Yep, yep, okay. And then, yeah, I'd be really interested in hearing what Corey has to say about it, if he's got.
And maybe that's something that they can, we give them some ideas on what you'd recommend.
Yeah.
So I'll get a hold of Corey and see if I can meet him. I just seen him the other day, so.
And then did we have I remember discussing this before, there was a fundamental reason why we thought having the temporary outfield net was more useful, wasn't there? Was there like a reason we wanted to have the bigger field and for
I
like,
think you'd want to keep.
men's
in my opinion, I think you'd
softball
want
and
to
stuff,
keep
right?
in case you'd happen to get a bar league again or something like that,
Yeah.
or men's league going soft, slow pitch, whatever.
Yeah, and that's why.
There's always that possibility
Yeah.
that somebody come up and say, hey, I wish you would left these fields bigger because,
Yeah.
they're set up with the temporary fencing, which isn't too bad to bring out and
Yeah.
pull up and that stuff.
Yep. That's what I thought. I remembered that, but I did want to make mention of it so that Greg knew why it was that way as well. Not just a ignored request.
Yeah.
So, pretty good. So yeah, I think now is kind of a fun time where we get to disperse and come back with ideas and start traveling these other small communities and seeing the things that they have that we don't have that we think is real nice or things that we're clearly lacking, and try to get it on our list and build up our next year's plan. So we get the fun part of the duties here.
Every time I travel, I always drive by the parks, and I always look at the street signs and roads.
Yeah.
So, we're actually, I can't remember where, just recently, we drove through some of the smaller towns and bigger towns and stuff, looking at their swimming pools and stuff like that, getting some just rough ideas on what they're doing and how they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are parks in like Sioux Falls, or some of them, or anyone that's seen like upgrading to some, like for flag football, like turf fields, or is that, I know turf is probably pretty expensive. I'm guessing a real expensive proposition. But are we starting to see that in
I did see Fort Pierce, they got their football field for the school, but I think more of that's gonna be more of a school function, that schools do it. I haven't seen a lot of parks doing that stuff this time. I mean, I think it's, like I said, it's more, I think, your schools and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
With the the new Windsor Group development east of the Colton Oil Highway, is there any parks in theirs that you're aware
They
of?
paid a fee.
They paid the fee.
We're
With the-
getting that changed slowly,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that we determine whether they gotta pay a fee or whether we need a park.
Yeah.
They got in soon enough where they had the choice. So,
Right.
That's, yeah.
Very good
It
location.
would be great, because now, any children or students that are in that development fundamentally have to cross two 35-mile-an-hour or faster highways to get to a park.
They'll have access, Jan's Corporation's got the land up there.
Now, then we did tell them we want
Okay.
a park
Yep.
there, so,
Okay.
and they anticipate that, so.
Very good.
That'll be good.
That's up-
That east area.
Oh, the east side.
It'll be on the east side of there.
The
so.
apartments over there.
Okay.
Yep. So
Oh, that'll be good then.
What's really nice with the park study that we did, it kind of gave us an idea where we thought the park should be, and stuff like that, trail system. So.
Is that Jan's Park, is that owned and controlled by the apartment complex, Jan's group?
Separate
or is-
group.
Okay, but it's not something that we need to be addressing?
The land will be donated to the city, and it will,
Oh,
once we
okay.
get that, we will have,
Oh, okay,
put the
okay.
improvements
Oh,
in
very
there.
good.
Yes,
Excellent,
they won't
excellent.
put it up.
That's something we definitely
That's something you
need
need
to
to
have
keep
in
on the
budget.
radar.
Yep,
Yep.
so once we
Yep.
figure out the land, get established, figure out what we
See
can
how
put in
big
there,
it
then
is,
we have to start putting together some numbers again, see what it's gonna cost
It's
us.
gonna take for equipment, yeah, so
Okay.
that's something to keep on your radar, yeah, because
Should we try to earmark the park first?
We've been working on that with these developers, because it's like, we kind of need to know where it's gonna be, how much land we're gonna have
How
to work
big it
with, and
is,
stuff like
yeah.
that. So we're trying to be on the forefront with that as far as making that
Awesome.
our priority versus them just
Yeah, here's
throwing
the.
streets in and water and sewer, that stuff, and then
Yeah.
lots and building houses and go, we'll stick you back there.
Yeah.
Type things.
Yeah, one house lot, a third of an acre to have two sides.
Isn't it supposed to be a certain percentage of the development? of it?
5% of their total development is
By
the
land.
land that's required to donate to the park.
What was it, just shy of 160 acres?
I have to look, I don't remember how many
So you're
acres
looking
they're
at 7 acres, maybe.
How big is the Lion Park? How big is Lions
I
Park?
want to say Lions 4, 5 acres.
I was at one, say
Okay.
Does that
5 acres.
include the ball diamonds and the
Yeah.
pool?
Yeah, that includes the whole area.
section.
So it'll be a substantial part.
Yeah, that'll be a good side.
Chance to lay it out very nice.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Clear that parking and stuff like that, which is going to take up some room.
Yep,
Yeah, it'd be decent.
very good.
Probably a picnic shelter or something.
Yeah. All right. Cost estimates, timelines, reprioritizations, we kind of touched on that. We gonna be pretty light on some of that stuff right now. We got cost estimates on the playground equipment, kind of a pretty solid one there, so that's great. Otherwise, that stuff will roll in as it comes in. Otherwise, On the new business, we don't have any new business as of current. And then other items to review the agenda for the October meeting. Do we have any items they'd like to see on the October meeting? Probably just feedback from the council on if we can release funds for that playground equipment. Otherwise, I don't.
You don't have any follow-up with the Sioux Falls Park and Rec, right?
Not at this point, no.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe if Craig hears back anything from their utility guys on those mowers and how they are, if they're worth it or not, but this guy seemed to be very happy with them too, so. And I'm sure they're gonna have way more information than I currently do, so. Otherwise, we can make a motion to adjourn with our next meeting being October 27th. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Good, meeting adjourned.
Nice. Efficiency.
I'll let you know I might be gone, or I will be gone the 27th.
Okay.
Okay.